Hello children, happy to meet you all again in this video class. Hope you are all in the pink of your health by eating nutritious food in your home prepared by your mother. Is it not? Yes, you have to be hale and healthy in this pandemic situation to fight against the coronavirus, the COVID-19. For that, we should have good immune power. That good immune power we can acquire only by taking nutritious food. Then only we can be hale and healthy. So, take care of your health. Also, hope you all got your test marks. Are you all satisfied with that? Very few of you have not scored well, and most of you did not understand the question. So, before starting to write the test, read the question well and understand and try to answer. The next test, everyone should get good marks. Okay. Now, in the last video class, we completed the second lesson, microorganisms, friend and foe. Hope you all understand well. Have you all completed the classwork? Soon you complete all the classwork and worksheets, because you have to submit that also, I think, in the coming days. So write neatly and complete the work side by side without any pending. Now, today in this class, we are going to start with a new lesson. That is lesson number 7, chapter 7, conservation of plants and animals. What is conservation? Conservation means the usage of things wisely and judiciously. That means we living beings, not only human beings, also plants and animals, they also depend on natural resources. Is it not? So, that natural resources comprises of both living and non-living. We depend on them for our life. And the natural resources, they include air, water, soil, plants, animals, everything. Is it not? Not only the living things, all the biotic and abiotic factors include in our environment, and everything constitutes the natural resources. So, using that natural resources in a wise and judicious manner is called conservation. That means without wasting, without overusing them, not overusing. Because of our greediness and because of the increasing population day by day. Now we are ranking second in our population in the world. In few years, within 5 years ahead, we think we will be the first in the most populous country, most populous country. Now China is the first populous country. Very soon, we will beat them and we will be the first place. We will be in the first place in most populous country. Because the rate of population increases in such a manner. As a result, we are, overusing the natural resources. So, this affects the human race, not only human race, all the life on the earth. So, we should take care of our natural resources. This is the right time to conserve our natural resources and to take steps to conserve the natural resources, or else everything will get destroyed. Okay, so in this lesson, we are going to see some topics like conservation of natural resources, biodiversity, deforestation, consequences of deforestation, biosphere reserves, flora and fauna, then endemic species. So all these topics we are going to cover today. First one is conservation of natural resources. So conservation means what? The wise and judicious use of natural resources is called conservation. Not only the living species but also the abiotic factors also we have to conserve. As the population increases, the need of the human race also increases. So naturally what we do, the living place should be enlarged. We need more place to live, and we depend on the forest. Is it not? Forest is the biggest biodiversity. Forest is the biggest biodiversity. What is the biodiversity? What is it, biodiversity? Biodiversity includes all the living beings, that is all varieties of living organisms. Not only human beings, plants, animals, microorganisms, water resources, everything. Everything includes the biodiversity, the living and non-living factors. The variety of living organisms exist on the earth. That is called biodiversity. So, the best place where we can see good biodiversity is the forest. And India is one of the country which has diverse biodiversity. A large variety of biodiversity is present in our country, so we have to conserve that. As the population increases, the need of the need of human beings also increases. We need land for living. First one, procuring land. Procuring land for living, for vegetation. For vegetation also, we have to procure land for various vegetation, growing plants, for agriculture. We need land, more land. For that also, we are clearing the forests, cutting down trees in the forest and occupying that forest. Is it not? So naturally, the living habitat of the animals get destroyed. In forest, wildlife will be there. Is it not? Wildlife, where they will live? They will be in their natural habitat in the forest. From microorganisms to big lions, elephants and all. Big organisms, everything could be seen. Not only that, plant varieties also will be seen. So all types of plants, animals, microorganisms will be there. There will be coexistence among the living organisms, and the nature will be maintained. So this biodiversity should be maintained for a good life, for a good environment, or else everything will get destroyed. So biodiversity means variety of living organisms found in an environment, including animals and plants. And India is one of the country having diverse biodiversity, from tropical rainforest vegetation. Then temperate forests. Temperate forests to coastal vegetation. Temperate forests to coastal regions. Its diversity, variety of living place and variety of living organisms is seen from tropical rainforest to alpine vegetation. Then from temperate forest to coastal regions. So like this, the variety of biodiversity differs in our country. Next, this biodiversity should be maintained, or else what will happen? The ecological balance will not be there. Ecological balance will be destroyed. That means for our need, not only for procuring land for living and for vegetation, we depend on forest for fuels also. We are cutting down trees. We need wood for fuel purpose. Not only for that, for several various industrial purposes also. We are destroying for construction purposes. For construction of factories and industries, we are destroying the forest. Because of the increasing population, the needs increase day by day. And we need more land, more living habitat. For that we are destroying the forest. So for fuels, for constructing dams, for construction of homes, factories. Naturally, what will happen? Because of this cutting down of trees is called deforestation. This cutting down of trees is called deforestation. That means destroying the forest is called deforestation. Only if a forest is maintained, the water cycle will also be maintained. Then carbon dioxide and oxygen, the ratio will be maintained in the atmosphere. Okay, and if we destroy the process of cutting down trees or destroying forest is called deforestation, and consequences of this deforestation. Consequences means what? The ill effects. What will happen if the forests are cut down, if the forests are destroyed? Those are called the consequences. Naturally, what will happen? Wildlife habitat will be destroyed. Wildlife habitat will be destroyed. What is that wildlife? The animals which are living in their natural habitat, that is in the forest, their habitat, that is the living place, will get destroyed. Where do wild animals will live? Can we see the wild animals near our residential areas? No, only the pet animals we can see. Is it not? But if the forests are destroyed, what will happen? The wildlife habitat will also get destroyed. Naturally, they will enter into our living habitat and we will kill them. Is it not? And if the forests are cut down, soil erosion will take place. The next step is soil erosion. How soil erosion happens? Because of the deforestation. When trees are cut down in lower classes, you would have studied roots only hold the soil. That too, in forest, many trees, very huge trees, their roots will go deep into the soil and they will be closer together and the roots will form network-like structure and they will hold the soil very tightly. Because of this, even when there was a heavy rainfall, the soil will not get eroded along with water. the soil will be retained. If the trees are cut down, the soil will become loosened and the soil will be eroded. Soil erosion will take place. If soil erosion takes place, naturally the other things will follow. That is, the flood and drought will also follow. Because of soil erosion, flood and drought will also happen. How the flood will be there? If the soil becomes loose and get eroded with the rainwater, the top layer, the soil will lose its fertility also. Soil fertility will also be affected. Soil fertility will also be affected. The top layer will get eroded. Only the top layer has the nutrients and the humus will be present and good vegetation will be seen. Is it not? If the top layer is eroded, what will happen? Naturally, no vegetation will be there. If no vegetation is there, more soil will be eroded and the bottom layer with the rocks, stones will be exposed on the top layer and the rainwater will not go deep into the soil. Because of this, underground water level decreases. Next, another one. Underground water level decreases. Underground water level also gets decreases because the rainwater will not percolate into the soil. That means it will not enter into the soil particles. It can't retain that water. The water holding capacity of the soil will decrease. Naturally, the underground water level also decreases. Next, as underground water level decreases, the availability of water in that area will decrease and no vegetation will be seen and it will lead to drought. Drought means what? Unavailability of water. This is the one thing. Then flood. If the forests are not having that water holding capacity and all the rainwater, heavy rainwater will enter into the living habitat of human beings and that is called as flood. So, deforestation leads to destruction of wildlife habitat, soil erosion. Soil erosion leads to flood and drought and also soil fertility. It will lose its soil fertility. Underground water level decreases. Not only these things, another main thing is desertification. Desertification also occurs. What is desertification? Conversion of grassland or vegetative land into a unfertile land. That means a desert area with no vegetation will be seen. So conversion of this cultivable land into an uncultivable land is called desertification. How this happens? I think all of you know the Thar desert and Sahara desert, the famous deserts. You would have studied about that. Those two places were with good vegetation once upon a time. There were good vegetation, many species of living organisms were seen there. But now it is converted into desert. How it happened? Because of excessive hunting of carnivores. So, the main reason, consequences of another deforestation is food chain will be affected. Food chain will be affected. In lower classes you would have studied about the food chain. That means all the animals and also all the living organisms depend on plants. either this herbivore or carnivore. Herbivores directly depend on plants. Carnivores indirectly depend on plants. This is not. So all the living organisms, either directly or indirectly, they depend on plants. And those plants will be consumed by the herbivores. Herbivores will be eaten by carnivores. Is it not? And carnivores, after death, it will be decomposed by microorganisms. Is it not? And that microorganisms will be converted into dead and decayed organisms in humus, and again the plants will utilize that. So this is a food chain in an ecosystem. This food chain will be affected. The good example for that is the formation of the Sahara and Thar desert. Let us see about that. How those two places with good vegetation was converted into deserts. So, by excessive hunting of carnivores, the big carnivores, where they were hunted excessively, in large numbers they were hunted. Why they are being hunted? For their skin, or for some animals, people believe that their parts having the medicinal values. For that, taking the parts of the carnivores, they are hunting them. And some are their skin will be used, their nails, like that. Or because of fear also, they may come and attack. We occupy their habitat, and we also hunt them as they enter into our poaching. That means killing. When they enter into our habitat, we are killing them. So, poaching and hunting, excessive hunting. Poaching means what? Nothing but killing of organisms. Poaching and excessive hunting. Poaching and excessive hunting of carnivores were done in that place, that is in Sahara and Thar desert. Because of this, carnivores were hunted. Naturally, next level, that means the herbivores, the carnivores depend on herbivores, is it not? So, this herbivores, they increase in their number. This carnivores decreases and this herbivores increases in number. As the carnivores number decreases, the herbivores were increased. The ratio differs. There should be a balance in the ecosystem. This balance gets damaged. Here the food chain is affected and this herbivores increases. These herbivores depend on what for their food? They depend on the plants or the grass. Is it not? So, as the number of herbivores increases, they graze on the grasslands. They graze more. They consume more vegetation. So, the vegetation gets affected. The grasslands get affected. And the vegetative area decreased. There are no plants. As there are no plants, water cycle also gets affected. So this grasslands also decreases. Because of this, water cycle also affected. Only if there are good vegetation, they will absorb the underground water and evaporates the water vapor. Clouds will be formed. Again, the clouds will bring rain. Is it not? This is a water cycle in the environment. So, as the vegetative grasslands decreases, naturally water cycle affected. As there is unavailability of water, the growth of the plants itself is not seen, and slowly that desertification process takes place, and now it is converted, a good vegetative land is converted into deserts. So the ecological balance was not maintained. Because of what? Because of the poaching human beings. We human beings only doing all these things. We only destroys the natural things in the ecosystem. Understand? So like this only, the ecological balance in the nature or the environment is destroyed and results in desertification. Desertification is one of the consequences of deforestation. And another consequence is the carbon dioxide and oxygen level in the environment will also be destroyed. It will also be not maintained. How? If trees are cut down, trees only release, not only trees, plants release oxygen during daytime when they carry out the photosynthesis. If no plantation, no trees are there, means what will happen? Carbon dioxide level increases in the atmosphere. Because of this, what will happen? The heat will be produced, more heat also will be produced, and this heat produced by the carbon dioxide will be trapped in the atmosphere, and the temperature of the earth increases. This is called global warming. Release of excess carbon dioxide. So, in an environment, biotic and abiotic factors constitute the environment, and a balance should be maintained in the ecosystem. If the ecosystem is not maintained in balance, the result will be very worst. Adverse effect will take place. Understand? So like this, the biodiversity, that means variety of living organisms in the living environment or on the earth should be maintained. We should conserve the biodiversity. We should not do harm to the biodiversity. Now we saw about what is deforestation and what are the consequences. Up to what we saw now is that deforestation because of the human activities. What we saw was done because of the human activities, that is loss of living habitat, water cycle was affected, then desertification, next carbon dioxide and oxygen level is not maintained, food chain affected. Everything is because of the human activities. Next, natural causes for deforestation. What are the natural causes? Forest fire. Next, flood. Then drought. So these three things are the natural causes for deforestation. Forest fire. Sometimes in summer, because of the excess heat, the dried leaves get fire, and naturally the fire will spread and it will affect most of the areas of the forest. And this is called forest fire. It's because of natural occurrence. We can't be responsible for that. So this forest fire. And flood, excessive rainfall. Because of that excess rain, the flood may occur and it may erode the soil and the trees may fall down. Like that, the deforestation may take place. Another one, drought condition, is that sometimes the rainfall may become there won't be any rainfall. The percentage of the rainfall may decrease. Because of that, sometimes the forest may be affected. So these are the natural causes. Or sometimes because of the pests, so some insects, the vegetation in the forest may also be affected. So these are all the natural causes. So we saw the consequences of deforestation because of human activities and also the natural causes we saw. That was the third point. Next one, we saw the consequences also. Next one. reserve. What is biosphere reserve? It is a multi-purpose protected area. Biosphere is nothing but an area of protection. That means it is a large protected area for multi-purpose for conservation of this biodiversity. We have to maintain this biodiversity. For that, we have to protect the areas. So, such protection of large areas for multi-purpose of protecting and maintaining that, biodiversity is called biosphere. Protection and maintenance of biodiversity. Large protected area for multi-purpose, for various purposes. That means, for example, India is having a rich biodiversity, as I said earlier, from tropical rainforest to alpine vegetation, then temperate forest to coastal region. Various biodiversities are there. We have lot and lot of natural resources and we have to conserve them, or else it will lead to very adverse effect. So for this, in this biosphere reserves and all, wildlife. What is the wildlife? Living organisms in its natural habitat. Wildlife means living organisms in natural habitat. The animals will be living very freely in their natural habitat, wild animals. They are called wildlife. And plants will be growing naturally. We are not growing and doing vegetation there. Naturally they are all growing. That is called wildlife. Living organisms in natural habitat. To protect these wildlife, the government has taken steps to conserve them. In one such thing is biosphere reserves. They are maintaining certain large areas as protected areas to conserve these things. One such biosphere in India is Pachmari Biosphere Reserve. One such biosphere in India is Pachmari. P-A-C-H-M-A-H-O-R-I. Pachmari Biosphere Reserves. And this biosphere reserve, as it is occupying a large area, it consists of one national park, and two sanctuaries. In this one biosphere reserve, as it is a large area, inside that area, one national park and two sanctuaries are present. What does that one national park means? Satpura. And this Pachmari Biosphere Reserve is located at Madhya Pradesh. Where it is located? It is in Madhya Pradesh. Located in Madhya Pradesh. And what national park means? Satpura National Park. The name of the national park is Satpura National Park. And the sanctuaries, two sanctuaries are there. Means, what are those sanctuaries? Means Pachmari Sanctuary. biosphere reserve means a large protected area. It is for multi-purpose of conservation of the biodiversities. So one of that, the world has many biosphere reserve areas, and India, one such bioreserve area is there, that is called as Sachmari Biosphere Reserve. And this biosphere area consists of one national park and two sanctuaries. That one national park is called as Satpura National Park, and the sanctuaries, what are the two sanctuaries means? Pachmari Sanctuary and Bori Sanctuary. And in this, many wildlife are protected. Do you understand? So, biosphere reserve means place, it is a large protected area. No one can enter and disturb that wildlife. That and all we will see in the national park and sanctuaries. When we discuss about these parts, we will learn about that. So it is an area, protected area, where the wildlife will be conserved. No one can enter without permission. No one can disturb the wildlife. They will be living in their natural habitat without any disturbance. That is called Biosphere Reserve. One such in India is National Park and Sanctuaries. Next one. Extinct and endangered animals. Extinct and endangered animals. What is this extinct animal? Now it is no more on this earth. That means that life gets exhausted. No living organisms is present. That is called extinct. It is last forever. Last forever. The living organisms which were found once upon a time, and now it is nowhere. It is no more. That is, it lasts forever. Again, we can't see that their species itself is not present now on the earth. Such species are called extinct species. For example, a well-known example for you, dinosaurs. You would have seen a popular movie about the dinosaurs. Such a huge organism. But now it is not there because they were not able to adapt with the climatic changes. As there was change in the environment because of human activities or because of natural changings, they are not able to adapt with the climatic changes. So now they have become extinct. It is not at all present on the earth. Such animals are called extinct animals. Example, dinosaurs. Another one, this is the animal species. Next is plant species. It is Nilgiri Holi. That means a plant variety that is seen in the Nilgiri region. Nilgiris, you know, that is a Ooty. Then crypansi. Another one plant called crypansi. These are existing on the earth once upon a time, but now it is not seen anywhere. Such type of species, either it is animal or plant. Already it exists, but now it is not present. Means that is called extinct species. Then, endangered animals. What are endangered animals? That means they are at a high risk of becoming extinct. They are at high risk of becoming extinct. They are at high risk of becoming extinct. That means very few numbers are present. Before it may be in large number, but because of poaching or excessive hunting, now the number was reduced and they are at high risk of becoming extinct. So, some examples for these are Asiatic lion. Asiatic lion. Asiatic lion is found in Gir National Park in Gujarat. Now it is in the endangered level. Next one, macaque. That means lion-tailed monkeys. It may have the mane in their face, white colored beard and mane around its face. That is called macaque. That macaque, it is seen in southwest of India. Southwest region of India. That macaque. It is also very few in number. Then Indian rhinoceros. Indian rhinoceros. It is also very few in number in our country. Next, fourth one, giant panda. Giant panda in southeast China. In southeast China, giant panda were found. So now they are in very few in number. They are at high risk of becoming extinct. Such organisms which are at high risk of becoming extinct. In a few, if we fail to conserve them, if we don't take steps to conserve them, then they will come in the list of the extinct species. Understand? So we understand about this biosphere reserves, extinct and endangered animals. Extinct animals means which were once living on this earth, now it lasts forever. Now it is not found anywhere on this earth. Such species are called as extinct species. And for example, dinosaurs is a very well-known example. Next, plant species may be holy and trypancy. Next, endangered animals which are at risk of becoming extinct. Example, Asiatic lion that is found in the Gir forest of Gujarat. Next, macaque. It is a lion-tailed monkey. It is called as lion-tailed monkey with a mane and white beard around its face, and it is found in the southwest India. The Indian rhino, giant panda in southeast, found in southeast China. These and another one, red panda. It is also becoming extinct. That means it is also in the endangered list. Giant panda, red panda. It is a red panda is also there. That is also very few in number. So in this class, in this new chapter, conservation of plants and animals, we discussed about various points. I think all of you understand this very well. That is conservation of natural resources. Why should we conserve? Biodiversity. What is biodiversity? Why should we conserve them? Then deforestation, consequences of deforestation, biosphere reserves. In India, Pachmari Biosphere Reserve, and in that one national park, Satpura National Park, and two sanctuaries, Pachmari Sanctuary and Bori Sanctuary was present, and in that in those sanctuaries, different organisms were there. That means endemic species. We will see about that in the next class. Endemic species means the species which are present only in that particular geographical area and not in any other part of the world. Only in that naturally it will not be grown, the plant or either animal, it will not be found anywhere. Such organisms are called as endemic species. Example, this thing, flying squirrel or giant squirrel that is found there. There are different floras are also there. About that you will see in the next class. Then endemic species. By endemic species we will see in the biospheres. Then we saw about extinct and endangered animals. All these we discussed today. You all once again revise the book and do thoroughly understand, and along with this I will send the worksheet. You all complete that, then side by side complete the classwork also neatly. Take care children. Thank you.